That's right, you guys know what time it is. This is part 3 of a series that I don't know how many we're going to have, where we're doing countdowns. That's right, today we're going to look at the top 10 statues that Sideshow Collectibles has ever made. Stay tuned and grab a drink.
It's the final countdown.
Thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. Today we're looking at Sideshow Collectibles and we're looking at the 10 best statues they ever made. A few questions before we start, I'll preemptively answer. Number 1, my name is Mr. X. Number 2, why am I qualified to do this? I'm not, you're just getting my opinion. Number 3, what are you drinking? Well, YouTube has some rules, so I'm drinking apple juice right here. Just so you guys know, it's delicious apple juice, and I didn't slur my words, it's because I have a lisp, not But today we are going to take a look at the top 10 statues that Sideshow Collectibles has ever made. This is the third part in a series where we first started talking about Prime 1 Studios. You can actually check out that video right here. We looked at Prime 1 Studios and the top 10 statues they ever made, and that was probably the hardest list, to be honest with you. And then that was shortly followed a week or so later by XM Studios. So you can check out this video. We looked at all the top 10 statues made by XM Studios. We talked about some of the background. And I think the Sideshow one that we're going to do today was my hardest list. And unfortunately, a lot of people think I'm a Sideshow hater. I'm not. I think they make some fantastic products. However, I was struggling to come with 10 that I loved. So kind of a preface right there. But we're going to use a lot of the same rules. We're going to use a lot of the same format. But before we get started, we're doing some giveaways. The first giveaway is sometime during this video, I want you to comment on it. If you comment on this video, you actually get entered into a monthly drawing. The second contest we're doing is right here. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. Now before we dive in, let's talk a little bit about who Sideshow Collectibles is. So Sideshow Collectibles is, I believe, the world's largest statue manufacturer and distributor, and they are located in California in the United States of America. And they've actually been around for a long, long time. They've been in the game for over 25 years, believe it or not. And the niche that Sideshow really fills is for a lot of people in North America and Europe and some of the other parts of the world, they became a distributor for a lot of companies that are hubbed in Asia or elsewhere, and it's very difficult to get those pieces. So they've done a great job building their own brand as well as distributing other brands throughout the world. So as a disclaimer, today when we talk about Sideshow and their best statues, we're talking about the best statues that Sideshow has manufactured, not distributed, because they distribute for Prime 1 Studios, Iron Studios, Tweeterhead, Infinity Studios, and I could go on, despite what my wife might tell you. Just like the last few times, first I'm going to look at some of the pieces that are not released yet that I believe have the chance to be in the top 10. And I think not only on those, but my top 10 list, you guys are going to be really surprised by some of my choices. I'm also going to talk about some pieces that I've never seen in person, so I did not include them in the top 10 list. They have been released, people have them in hand, some are very old, and I believe these are some of the best statues that Sideshow has ever made, but I am not putting them in the list because I think you have to see a statue in person to judge it properly. Even though you will find quite a few critics who never buy any statues but love to trash them. Alright, so let's just kick it off here. And we're going to start with the pieces that Sideshow has coming out that I believe are going to be amazing. Alright, so let's go ahead and kick things off here. And as usual, we are going to start with some statue pre-orders. So these are pieces that they put up for order and nobody has in hand. A few of us have seen prototypes of these. And these are no particular order, but I think that you are not going to be surprised by the first one I'm going to talk about. This is their Gambit Premium format. I have seen this in person. I saw what I believe is the prototype at New York Comic Con. This stands, in my opinion, to be the best statue that Sideshow has ever made. I am not getting it because I have 3 other Gambits on order that I ordered first, so it's kind of sad. I just didn't want to lose all that non-refundable deposits to get this amazing piece. But I think this is arguably the most excited I've been about any Sideshow statue piece, and I'm not even getting it, so that kind of shows you. Another one, I don't know if this will be in the top 10, but I had to throw it up there, is the Rancor. And I saw a video that Sideshow did on this, and it really shows the massive presence. And this is because I'm such a big Star Wars fan. This is because I had the toy growing up. I can't wait to put with the pieces that you'll see behind me during this video. It's going to be awesome, and I am ecstatic that it is coming to my collection, so you will see a review here. Another one that'll be surprising to you guys, I think they're Scarecrow. I saw this in person as well. I think, especially for an underrated character, that this is going to be huge. This is going to be amazing. And the second collectors have this in hand, I'm going to predict that it really sells out, which is rare for a DC piece. But I think this just looks phenomenal. And the last one I want to talk about is one from their Mythos line, their Ventress. So a lot of hype over this one. I'm getting this one as well. And of their new Mythos line that they've kind of revamped with the Emperor and the Darth Maul, I think this is by far the best. They paid proper tribute to a character that really needed it. I hate that it's 1/5 scale. It should be 1/4, but I think the rest will be phenomenal. Okay, so now I want to talk about 5 pieces that I've never seen in person, but I think they have the potential to be in the top 5. And most of these, I would probably pick up. Some of them I for sure would pick up if I got the right price. The first one I'm unsure of. The first one I don't think is as amazing as other people do, but I do have to trust other collectors' opinions. So for that, I think OG Green Hulk should be on this list. I've never, like I said, I've never seen it in person. To me, it looks good. It looks very good. It doesn't look amazing. It doesn't look like it commands a $10,000 price tag, but you have to listen to the majority sometime, especially when they're seasoned collectors. So I do appreciate that. And I think this probably most people would say is a top 10. While I have that logic with Hulk, I cannot have it with this next piece. I'm about to show you this piece, and it is not in the top 10. I hate it. I think it's ugly. I can't understand why it goes for so much, and that's my opinion. And I guarantee someone just gave me a thumbs down for that, but it's okay to have a different opinion. This is the OG Doom on Throne. I do not like this piece. It has a lot of similar story to the OG Hulk, and when we say OG, we mean old grandpa. I'm just kidding. We mean original gangsta. So kind of the original one that they put out. I am not a fan of this. I never will be. Like I said many times, I would never have this in my collection. If someone gave it to me, that's great. I would resell it and make a buttload of money for God knows why, and then buy a different Doom. This next piece, I would buy in a second if I got the right price. This is their Lord of Darkness bust. I think it's amazing. I have their Lord of Darkness premium format. I don't know if it's actually a premium format, but 1/4 scale. And I like it. That goes for quite a bit more than retail usually. I have the exclusive version, but this looks awesome. I wish they would have done something different with his lip. I do not like the half scale, the legendary scale, but this full-size bust I would buy in a second because Legend was such a big part of my childhood. And the fact that this is Tim Curry, who also plays Pennywise the Clown and the hotel manager in Home Alone 2, and so many more roles, just cracks me up. Another piece I would love is their She-Hulk. I think the best She-Hulk ever made, especially lately. I've seen a lot of new ones with Sideshow's new premium format or 1/5 scale and some custom ones coming out. Nothing comes close to this. I do actually ironically own the XM Studios one because I got it for like $300, and this goes for well over $1,500 usually. But I think this is a great representation of She-Hulk, especially the exclusive. Definitely a top piece for Sideshow Collectibles. A post-Apple Juice edit cannot allow me to forget the piece that I have sought after for so long that I have yet to attain. My personal grail, Sideshow Pumpkinhead. This would definitely be in the top 10, and again, if I can get it for the right price, one day I will. The right price is not 20 times over retail, though. Then the last piece I have in here is their Legendary Scale Vader. So typically, not always, but when they say legendary scale, they mean half scale. So it's half the size of what it should be in real life. And as I made this list, I started to realize that this is not all inclusive to just Vader. Like there are a lot of their other legendary scale pieces, particularly that's the Apple Juice talking, Iron Man should also be in this list. So I think legendary scale, most of their pieces are just phenomenal, but they just command such a huge price tag. Now it's time to get in the top 10, and right now I do own all of these top 10. Typically, like I said before in the other videos, if it's a top 10 piece, I usually wouldn't sell it, so I still own it. And these guys right here, you will be really surprised, especially with number 3 and 5 will really surprise you guys, I think. And some of them I think you guys will be like, that should have been much higher. But let's go ahead and start with one of those. Number 10 is Legendary Scale Wolf Predator. You know, initially when I got this, and I paid top dollar, I paid aftermarket price, I thought it was amazing. But I think a lot of the other licensed and custom companies are coming out with things that will demolish this. I actually have a few things shipping right now I think that will demolish this. It's still a cool piece, and I think when it came out for its time, you know, it's kind of a diorama, has the alien on the bottom, and this is the best Predator out there in my opinion. Not statue, but Wolf Predator was the best Predator character ever made. It's too bad he was in one of the worst movies of all time for the Alien and Predator series, but this comes in at number 10. Number 9 is a grail that I picked up less than a year ago, is the Scout Trooper on speeder bike. It's actually right behind me in most of my videos. This is also an awesome piece, and this is one of those arguments that it's because of the size, because this is not even a secondary or tertiary character. This is a character nobody even cared about. But and the ES is fairly high, and another factor of top 10 pieces I think is if it goes for way more than retail, which this one does. I got a steal on it, still way above retail. But awesome piece. There's so many cool things going on with this. If you're a Star Wars collector, this is definitely a piece to have in that collection. Number 8 is an underrated piece in my opinion. This is their X-23. So they did a fantastic job. I love so many different things about this. The one negative is I think the Sentinel hand is scaled entirely wrong. However, I love the action dynamic pose. I love the sculpt. I love the paint. I love the exclusive head. I love the fact she pairs with one of the best Wolverines they've ever done, who is not on my list, but he's definitely in the top 15. Especially lately, I had him out for another review. She is awesome. I really appreciate what she did. There is a better custom X-23 out there, I think, but for price purposes, and since I already owned her, I decided to stay with her. Great piece. Well done, Sideshow. Next piece, you're getting stock photos because I have it at my office with my Hulk collection. This is their Gladiator Hulk by Daniel Bell. This and their Juggernaut, they made a lower ES of, and nobody wanted to buy it because they said the price tag was ridiculous. And then it sold out. I believe it's sold out. I know for sure the exclusive is sold out, and to me this is an exclusive or fail. You need the additional portrait. You need the additional head. It's fantastic. Before I actually got it in, I did read Planet Hulk just to kind of buff up on it, and while it's not entirely accurate to it, it is pretty cool. And I have it paired next to a custom Silver Savage from the comic and next to their Thor premium format. They all look very good together in my setup. You can check that out in my office tour, actually right here. And speaking of their Juggernaut, he comes in at number 6. You know, I was late to this, and I actually got him less than retail. I got the exclusive less than retail. Somebody reached out to me and offered it to me 100 under retail shipped, so I had to take it even though I had 2 other Juggernauts. And there are so many things I love about this. I think the sculpt is amazing. I love the fact they did an action dynamic pose. I don't like the pieces flying out. I don't like the fact he's hunched over. The base is phenomenal. And this is arguably one of the best comic jugs that has ever been done. There's some more custom ones coming out that might give it a run for its money, but so happy to have this in the collection. I don't think I will ever sell this. Now we're down to the top 5, and I think number 5 is gonna surprise a lot of people. Number 5 is actually sculpted by Daniel Bell, who is one of Sideshow's premier sculptors and just a premier sculptor in general. I don't have a ton of ties to this character. I've read, some of the omnibuses he's in. I've watched some of the series on TV, and I can guarantee you he's never watched me, because this is Sideshow Daredevil premium format. Some people, there's some other Daredevils coming out like the Iron Studios, and they love that over this. XM Studios has an older one. I love this piece. I think it's amazing. I think it captures everything. Daredevil on top of that cathedral. You see in the back, I actually have the Shadowlands variant, which I love as well. That's the omnibus I've read. And I love both of these pieces. I should give one up. I will not, because I think the sculpt is perfect. I think the concept is perfect. This is one of their best pieces they've ever done, and I see this still sell at retail. This is one of the ones I think a lot of people disagree with me, which is okay, because that is what's awesome about collecting. But Daredevil is definitely number 5. Number 4 is a piece that I actually have 2 customs of this character. And I recently sold one, and the other one I will never sell. And eventually I probably will sell this. I will not now, so please don't message me. But arguably one of the best rogues ever done, I don't know if it's the best rogue, it's damn close, is their rogue maquette. They did so many cool things with this. Not only does it tie to some of the other characters in the line with the Danger Room base, but it shows her levitating and or flying, which is huge. That's a power that you usually don't see on a rogue statue. It shows her strength ripping that saw blade out of the floor. So 2 for 2 on some of her powers other than her absorbing power. And the portraits are immaculate. Some people don't like these. I like this take on the portraits quite a bit. I like the realism. Yes, there's some, Angelina Jolie, who to me is beautiful. I love both portraits. This is one of those pieces that I would be 100% happy with either portrait, whether it's the exclusive or the regular. I think she's slightly overscaled, but otherwise just a phenomenal piece, really well done Sideshow. Number 3 amazes me. This is one I told you guys that you'd be surprised at. It amazes me because everyone I know that has him loves him. But I see people sell him a lot, and they sell him for at or under retail. And it's possible it's because he's a DC piece. DC pieces traditionally sell for less. It's just how it usually happens. Not every time, but most of the time. This is their Bane. Their Bane premium format. This is phenomenal. I love everything about this. The fact that he's destroying the bat signal. The fact that he's so huge. He's the true size of what Bane should be. The sculpt is amazing on this. It has mixed media, which sometimes I would definitely like to pass on, but it works okay on this statue. I only have the regular version. I wasn't a fan of the exclusive, so I didn't want to pay top dollar. And ironically, I think this is still available on their website, which blows my mind. Number 2, I'm a little impartial to because Silver Surfer is one of my favorite characters. Mr. X, it's the Silver Surfer comiquette? No, it's not. And speaking of which, I just want to let everyone know, so the new Silver Surfer that Sideshow's coming out with, sculpted by Daniel Bell, everyone keeps talking about how great it is and they can't wait to order it. And they keep asking me, are you going to order it? We haven't seen it yet. Yes, Daniel Bell is one of the best out there. No doubt. I probably have 15 pieces by Daniel Bell and some of them are my favorite. But we have not seen it. Wait until we see it. And then you can decide if you like it. That's all I'm saying. But number 2 does have close ties to Silver Surfer and it's an older piece. This is their Galactus maquette. This is amazing, and like I said, I think I'm a little biased because I love Silver Surfer so much. I actually don't display him with the Silver Surfer accessory, but I think this captures the Galactus I love and know. The only disadvantage to this is it's damn near 31, 32 inches, but it's not big enough because the Galactus was giant, so he doesn't scale horrible with other pieces, but he doesn't scale great with them. But I don't know how they could have fixed it, so I really can't judge that. I love this piece. I got a hell of a deal on it a long time ago, and I've reviewed it, I think, on the channel. I'm sure I have, but you can check out in the Sideshow playlist I'll throw up at the end. Very, very cool. Awesome, awesome piece. Now, when I was going to start this countdown, I thought everyone's going to know what my number 1 Sideshow piece is, and I really kind of dug deep to see if I could dethrone that, both figuratively and literally, but I can't. Thanos on Throne is the number 1 piece that Sideshow has ever done. This was the most expensive piece I'd ever bought at the time. About probably 3 or 4 years ago now, I pre-ordered him, like right when he came out. And he is fantastic. I have custom accessories that I think take him to that next level. I love Thanos. Again, I have huge ties to Silver Surfer. That's my favorite character. Those are the comics I like. And with the addition of the MCU, and you can see I even have a custom head on here that's similar to that, I think this just blows it out of the water. I've unboxed, hundreds and hundreds of statues. Some of them I remember while I unboxed them. This one I remember every detail. I remember what the room looked like. I remember the smells. I love this piece. It is not my favorite piece of all time, but I think it's the best one that Sideshow has ever put out. And I think a good indication for everybody on that is you rarely see it go into retail when they made damn near 5,000 of these. So with an incredibly high edition size, it still goes for a lot. And that's with other Thanos pieces being produced by both licensed and custom companies. So now is the fun part for me, guys. I love to read through your comments. And you know, the great thing about the channel is we're growing so fast, and I'm a little bit humbled, which never really happens to Mr. X because he's cocky as hell. But as I get bigger, I won't be able to read all of the comments, and that's kind of bothering me. I'm gonna get a moderator. I've already talked to the person to help out. But so my favorite part of the video, especially these videos, is reading your guys' comments and opinions. And sometimes, even on the XM video that I recently put out, you guys throw out stuff, hey, you missed this one. And I really did. That was the XM Darkness. That should have been in the top 10, and like 5 people said that. 100% true. I'm gonna review that soon for you guys because I do own it. But I love reading what your favorites are. Not only are there ones I forgot, but I love learning about you guys, and you guys see in the live chats. It's crazy how I know strangers so well. It's kind of creepy actually, but that's why you just drink more beer and you can ease it in fine.
That's what she said.
Sorry, apple juice. So let me know in the comments if there's anything I missed, what you would change about my list, what your top pieces are, and or if there's something you're anticipated that I missed in the anticipation list. So I am going to do some other top 10 videos with statues. I'm not going to reveal what they are yet. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, it's humbling. Second, make sure you hit that Mr. X logo to subscribe to the channel so you can see all this content. Or check out this Sideshow Collectibles statue reviews playlist or these other top 10 countdowns. Take care. I will talk to you tomorrow.